Get in. I'm gonna bring Moses in right behind me. Special guest for the night with the information. Yeah, Moses, man, you there? Tap in with me real quick, Moses. If you're in the back office, there you is. What's up?
Hey,
Split the screen.
Shalom.
Split the screen with me and the brother. Okay, yeah, there we go. Moses, what's going on with you, man? Nice to meet you, man. We met on Facebook. What's popping?
Hey, brother, I'll definitely say blessed to be in Florida, the warmest state in the States right now. So,
It's real.
happy about
That's real.
that.
That's real. Where you from? You ain't from Florida?
Nah, I'm originally from the Midwest, up
What
there by
part?
the northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin parts.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay. How long
I,
you
I
been in
held,
Florida?
uh, what is it? Since July, so just short of a year, couple months, it'll be a year. I've been a traveler though. I got around, went to Seattle for a while, went to Virginia, and then I landed down here in Florida.
Okay.
So
So, not even in Florida. However, your background. That's how me and you met. You was a Hebrew, right? Is it Hebrew Israelite that we want to say? To be technical, I don't want to be. Let's
yeah,
just say.
I don't shy away from the what's the word looking for? I don't shy away from the enigmas that have been attached to that. When the first thing people think Hebrew Israelite, they just go off by what they know and have experienced from these organizations out here on the corners screaming. It's just like if you were to say I'm a black man, the next black man's attitude and behavior has nothing to do with mine. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. You right.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's why I mean you. Just off our Facebook connection, how I seen your content, how me and you interacted on Facebook. You see how me and you talked back and forth that day off that topic, and we
Yes, sir. Yes,
both were like,
sir.
yeah, okay, we can talk, we can have a conversation just out of respect level. You know what I mean? Because some of us
Exactly.
don't understand. That's first. That's first. Forget all the other stuff, right? So
Exactly.
you have a content about you though that actually that's why I brought you on the show. You stood out because of the me. I know other Hebrew Israelites, obviously, right? You're not the first I've met,
Right,
obviously,
right.
right? But because of the particular information that you bring up, it's what makes you unique to me. All right,
Thank
let's
you.
keep it real.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? No, you're welcome. And because it's something that's going on in the conscious community. I'm gonna say general speaking when I say that, all right? And
Yeah.
there's a couple other people outside of not even just Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? Moors, you know what I'm saying? And other people as well that are get into this information about America being the old world. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying with that? Like
Hmm.
it's a couple groups that are starting to float. Not all of them, but some of them are saying this. So, being that I see you presenting it a certain way, it made me say, I found me one that got is really saying some shit. I really want where you going with this? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them, based off the Bible, you know what I mean, the Torah, just
Yeah.
staying in the spectrum of Hebrew, because I understand, Torah, then the Bible, right? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
You're familiar with that, right? When I say it like
Hmm.
that. So obviously the first five Old Testament of the Bible is the Torah. You know what I'm saying? Most people on conscious level understand that part too. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the New Testament it would be considered like what we call Christianity, and you know what I mean, this new thing that what they say written in after the fact. But
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
with you so far, right? I'm following it. I
Yep.
already
Yep.
told you that I ain't.
That's where I am. That New Testament. We there's jewels, as you always have to tell the truth before you can tell somebody a lie, because the lie is just the bending of the truth. But I don't
Right.
ascribe to the Christian side of things, dealing with this man and the worship of him and the cannibalistic ritual of eating his flesh and
Flesh and
drinking
all
his
that.
blood. I don't deal with none of that.
Yeah. No, no, I get that part. Look, King James was swarthy, so some of us
Yeah.
wild things when we want to do what we want to do. And you see how he is
Hmm.
now. So
Yeah.
we want to blame other people outside of our own people that look like us between the tawny complexion. as yourself, my brother. You know what I mean? You still
Exactly. Oh,
a
yeah.
brother. You know what I mean? I'm more
Hey,
darker than people. I'm
hey,
still
call me light bright, okay?
light brown, peach brown, whatever. It's cool. Nah, I'm talking shit, man. You know, if I'm being for real though, it don't matter if we light or dark. We understand the origin of what we're talking about. So, first, I want you to tell the people about yourself. I just want to kick it with you real quick before we get into the information. Moses Bones, right? So, tell them what you got going on first before I ask you any questions. What's popping? Tell me what's popping.
Okay, so yeah, it's yours truly, Moses Bones. I like to teach what we call esoteric Hebrew information, from the occult to the magic, separating the good from the evil. Um, really that's the focus of a lot of my material, but I have to drop historical facts, bringing out ancient American history, because the true record of the Hebrews will always be misunderstood if we do not put it in its proper place, which is an American people.
Hmm. Okay. So I want to hear this because I ain't heard too many brothers like you even come from the angle like that. I mean, like I said, I know some Moors that are starting to come with this. So I think before I even go forward with you on this, let me just tell you what I do know, right? Before I,
Okay.
on my level of it, because I seen certain things you mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
Peru, I'm gonna go straight to Peru.
Okay, nice.
Straight to
Nice.
Peru. Straight to Peru. I'm going straight to Peru. That's where I'm at. I'm a Muskegee. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go on route wise, going straight to Peru. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
You know what I mean? Hitichi, it's a language. Mayan, it's an Inca. And I know that Peru
Mhm.
is Inca. The people that
Exactly.
they talk about, and there was a couple of them. Matter of fact, Cole, if you could do me a favor while we me and this brother talk, before I let him go in, 'cause I want him to go in, but I want to show him something. Machu Picchu. Can you pull that up? Matter of fact, type in Machu Picchu and type in uh, Tupac Amaru together at the same time.
Yep.
Right? You know, this the because we're going to Peru, and this is Machu Picchu. This the hill with the the capital, and you know what I mean. It's everything's built into this hill. You know what I mean, and certain things took place historically on it. Yeah, the did you type it? Yeah, that's it. Type in this. Yeah, go to the second one. Go to the second one right there. Yeah, click on that. So just real quick, just like so, I like to go to Peru because I hear you know there's a brother, America. Matter of fact, aren't you on that page on Facebook? I'm giving a shout out. America is the old world, right?
Yeah, America's is the old world. Yep, I recently got the brother's attention. He just sent me a friend request, so I definitely look forward to
Right,
sharpening swords with that brother as well soon.
right. That's the Facebook page that I mean, you engaged in that day. I
Yep,
think it was right. That's how we met in that
yep.
group,
I
right?
think I think it was. Yep.
I'm keeping it real. I gotta give a shout out. You know what I'm saying? To Amahotep, he got a book out. You know what I'm saying? America's the old world, and you know what I mean. This content surrounded. Actually, me and you met surrounded around that content. So I like to listen to things. I'm like, hold up, where this wheel? You know. So, I'm gonna give you the floor in a minute. I'm gonna give you the full screen to break down your content. You know what I'm saying? And let you tell me your perspective because fairly, I want to hear everybody's perspective. Um, I do have another guest too that actually is from an indigenous perspective. And I'm
Okay.
gonna let you up and speak on that same area that we're talking about Peru tonight in the
Nice.
top, so we can correlate. You don't mind
Nice.
that? But you're first. You're
All right.
first. I mean, and again, um, you gotta before he pulls this up. What you got something coming up that you be doing? Can you be doing what I'm saying, you're live, you be teaching, you know what I'm saying, the brothers, what I'm saying, sisters that tap in to your information. So I know you got something coming up. You posted inside the Thomas Party for people that's interested. Can you tell the people that
Yeah.
live be live on the radio? I want people to hear you and tell you, what you got going on real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So this 26th, which is next Friday, it's a very special holy day for the Hebraic side of our roots. And I definitely wanted to bring some brand new, fresh information. I have a 3-day seminar from Friday night, Saturday night to Sunday night, around 9:30ish. Bring your coffee, bring your popcorn and hot sauce, whatever you need to stay up, because we're going to rock it out. I have literally over 100 slides of information. This is going to be a bomb presentation, and the subject is the Atlantean origins of the Bible, an American legacy. Simple as that. Everything traces back, and I'm going to go into from the history to the land to even the symbolism of the ancient Jews, and show how it's all connected to Atlantis.
Okay, so say that date again and where they can find
March 26th. You can go to our website, healedvibrations.com, and you will see the ticket purchasing option right there on the site. You go ahead, purchase your ticket. You'll get an email, and with the email, you'll get the link. It's going to be on Zoom. It will be recorded for your future enjoyment. You can keep. And so, yeah, that's how we're going to do it.
All right, bet. So, real quick, can you pull that up for me?
Gotcha.
Share the screen real quick for me. Hold on a second, Moses. 1 second, bro. I'm trying to plug in my my iPad at the same time so my screen won't die on me. You know what I'm saying?
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Give me 1 second. Let me get right.
The white one? Yeah, that's
It's really quick. It'll be all right, though. I'm about to move around here tonight. We'll rearrange some things. It'll be all right, though.
Nice.
It'll be good, though. Check this out. So Tupac Amaru, right? You see where it says Tupac Amaru, and in the full Tupac Amaru revolutionary movement, Spanish movimiento. That's the whole same thing in revolutionary in Spanish. I ain't gonna pronounce the words wrong, but we all see the same thing, right?
Right.
Now, for those that don't, I don't speak Spanish, but it's basically saying revolutionary. Now, the Peruvian revolutionary group, founded in 1983, the group is best known for holding 490 people hostage in the Japanese embassy in Lima in 1996 in an effort to gain the release of jail comrades. After the standoff for several weeks, Peruvian troops stormed the embassy and killed all guerrillas. Defections have apparently since decreased in membership, and the group takes its name from the Indian revolutionary Tupac Amaru II, also known as Jose Gabriel Condure. You see how I got see that last word? I will fuck that shit up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna try to fuck it up right now.
What does that say? I gotta see if I can zoom in there. Okay. Condoryanqui.
Dorcanqui.
Oh, that's the C. Okay. Condor Conqui.
Yeah, you see that?
Yep.
All right, we on the same page. So now under here it says who in 1780 led Peruvian Indian peasants in the last widespread rebellion against Spain for independence. The Indians identified him with his ancestor Tupac Amaru, the last leader of the Inca, who was executed by the Spaniards in 1572. Now this is dealing with the Machu Picchu, right?
Right.
But I see that this same hill is being described as King David in the hill that the Hebrews speak of as well. And I'm trying to correlate who is King David that you're correlating to, that will be correlating to the fact that Tupac Amaru II. Now, if you see his second, I mean, he's not the first.
Exactly.
Right? Now, Tupac Amaru happens to be a title.
Yep. I was just about to say that Tupac is actually a title that was given to many prestigious Inca throughout the span of their history.
Okay, we have a good conversation. I like this kind of shit. All right, Moses. All right, Moses. All right, Moses. What happened?
Finish.
Hey, we can pull this down. We can pull this down. We can go split screen again real quick. So now that we're on that page of that, can you correlate based off your, you know what I mean? I'm going to give you the floor for about 20 minutes. Present the information that you were going in on that. Give me a summary of some of the things that you've been talking about. Try to just touch on what I just presented to you. You know what I'm saying? And try to
Okay.
give me an understanding based off that documentation that we just read and how it correlates to the Hebrew situation that you're speaking on with the same territory of what we call Peru, right?
Right.
Jeru, Peru,
Yeah.
Seller, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're on the same page, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I even have a 1611 edition Bible where it still spells Jerusalem as Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So it's there.
Okay. Okay. No,
It's there.
give me the screen. Give me the screen. Give me the screen. I want the
You
man.
know it.
So
So
it's on you right now. I'm gonna be quiet for a second. I'm gonna let you give me your breakdown. Give me a summary of what you're gonna give them on March 26th, and kind of just touch on the Peru part, obviously, please. You know what I mean, for the people. And then
okay.
just to keep it real with you again, I got somebody that's indigenous coming up,
All
and we're gonna
right.
do a panel conversation because he touches on that information dealing with that side of it as well. And I
Okay.
want to correlate. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
All right, now, brother, go ahead. It's on you.
So as far as what's going to be included in the seminar is really going to be about the building blocks of this information and the criteria, because the number one issue that a lot of people have, they just cannot find the link on how, even if they do see parallels in descriptions of land, they cannot see how these people relate to the Israelites, because let's keep it real, there is no record that we can say the Mayans called themselves Yasharal. There is no record where the Incas state we are the house of Dawiyad.
Right.
You can't find that.
Right.
But curiously enough, they will tell you at the same time, oh, the Inca had no written literature. It was some strange, rarely used petroglyphs and hieroglyphs, and they had quipus, the knot keeping, right, where they put the knot on the fringe,
Right.
and in each one they had a story. So first and foremost, something should be ringing off. You can't tell me that the people who knew the pure science of the ultraviolet rays of the sun, while they called themselves the sun children, how they built astrologically placed buildings, the best that the world has ever seen. And you even have some Moors come out and say how a lot of their astrology comes from the Inca medicine wheel, but these people never wrote anything down? Or is it that they destroyed all the literature and what little was left is kept in a library underground somewhere in Spain and Italy? Right? So and I'm going to quote Boondocks on this.
Mm-hmm.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Okay? So now it's on us to look backwards, because no matter what you're looking at, as far as our people are concerned, the so-called black people, the black American, we have to go to other people's records because ours were stripped from us. And even if you say that was our record, it's been translated into a language that you no longer remember. I mean, from a language that you no longer remember if you spoke it in ancient times. We don't remember that language. So you have to go on secondary sources, meaning foreigner sources, for everything. Now, the question is, which foreigners are telling the truth, and where are the oldest records of the foreigners? Because not one of us say, I have an original, authentic Mayan manuscript. Nobody can say that.
For what?
For as far as comparing the ancient record, right? Because like I said, it seems like there's nothing on record that the Mayans or the Inca themselves stated, oh, we are Hebrew, we are Israel. Right. Well, all the records have been jacked. And then they lie and say, oh, these people never wrote. Just like they lied and said we didn't know about the wheel. How? Come on. You really think that these people didn't know about the wheel?
You know, when you say that, though, just because it's your floor, because you know, kind of how you said it. I want to respond to you, right?
Okay.
Um, based off the document, right, and how you said the Inca, I'm gonna mention what I do know, right?
Okay.
I know about the Chalambalam. Are you familiar with the Chalambalam?
Yep.
Okay, so obviously there was a written manuscript, right, that came from these people,
Right.
but it was subscribed, as they say, in translated into Spanish,
Yeah.
Latin. You know what I mean? Because that's who conquered
Mhm.
the Inca, Mayan, as they say, South America, Central America, Mexico, right? So even
Exactly.
Florida, Spanish territory. Just to
Yep.
throw that in, right? So
Hmm.
when you say that there wasn't, do you know that since you know these parts, how does the Spanish correlation not thinking that some of these Spanish people that came over were actually Sephardic Jews? Are you familiar with the term Sephardic
Yep.
Jew,
Yep.
crypto Jew,
Yep.
Morisco?
100%.
Okay, so dark
100%.
skin
The Maranos. Christopher Columbus
Morano.
was a Marano. He was a black Jew.
Okay, so now you say that again, because see, a lot of people don't. I agree with you on that part. We on the same page on that part.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus was a Morano.
Yep.
He was considered a black Jew today.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yep.
Today he would be considered a black Jew if he was
Yep.
walking right now.
So now,
Go ahead, because
on top of this, now we have to ask the question, right? Okay, so we know there was some lies about the first recordings, or should we say the mainstream historical narrative. Some historians claim that there was no written record, but as you and I know, there was written records. Secondly, when we deal with these black Jews, and these are individuals coming from Europe, how did they know about America? Because they did not believe that you would fall off the edge of the earth. They knew about this land. Christopher Columbus was so obsessed with America, this black Jew couldn't stop talking about how America was where the Garden of Eden is.
Hmm.
Why was he correlating America with the beginnings of his Hebrew history?
Hmm.
Right?
You know
He
what?
said he came here. I stole a book
Right. I'm
from
listening.
a private college called Carthage College.
We're going to
And
tell
this
you.
book is no longer in print, and it's no longer in use.
Okay.
But, and I'll drop the information on this later. But in this book, in this private college book, this elite college, it talks about how Christopher Columbus, one of his main concerns, he was hoping to convince the king and the queen to use all the gold and said treasures and monetary gain that they would acquire from going into the islands to use it for the conquest of Jerusalem. King and the queen really paid him no mind. They said, find us the gold first, and then we'll talk about that later. So he ended up in 1502 writing Pope Leo Pope Alexander the Sixth, right? And my Hebrews know who that is. That's the father of Caesar Borgia, the image of the white Christ that they put
Hold
up.
on. Say his name again.
Pope
Say that
Alexander
name
the
again. We can pull
Sixth.
him up. We like to do it like that. Cause you talking, but we going sometimes we can pull up. You can pull up real quick.
Pope Alexander.
Pope, what's his name again?
Pope Alexander the Sixth. He was the most ruthless pope, and he was credited for being the one pope that was not of the particular bloodline as the others. And he started to institute a lot of jovial, and by jovial I mean in reference to Jupiter, jovial religion and symbology into the Catholic Church.
Okay. So, what time
So
frame is this? Can you give me a timeline?
This was in 1502. Christopher Columbus wrote this letter. So this is almost a decade after his initial, exactly a decade after his initial
right.
coming into the islands. Right after he becomes desperate and he's scared, not scared or concerned that the king and the queen of Spain, Ferdinand and Isabella, that they would not put the money that he gained towards the conquest. He went above them and wrote to the Pope directly. And he says, having gone thither and having seen the land. See, a lot of people say he never reached mainland. That's a lie. He sailed the coast of Brazil, Venezuela, and Colombia. As he got to Venezuela, there's what you call the Orinoco River, and he says that this river is a freshwater river, and it traces its origin back to the Point of Paradise. And lo and behold, it's a tributary off of the Amazon, which has its beginnings in the Andes Mountains in Peru.
Okay. I'm listening to you.
Christopher Columbus said, having gone, seen the land and being in it, he said that he estimated that he would need 100,000 horsemen, cavalry, and 200,000 footmen, foot soldiers to take over the Holy See and the Jerusalem, the Holy See, back to the Holy Mother Catholic Church. So
interesting.
We have this on writing. He's writing the Pope.
Writing the Pope. What's the Pope's name again?
Alexander the Sixth.
All right, pull him up while he's saying this, because I'm glad you brought that up. I mean,
and he's telling him all of this.
What year is this again? Sorry, one more time. What timeline? This is between what time? 1492 and 15.
Yeah, 1492 and 1502.
Okay, that's a decade. Okay.
And so first of all, what is Christopher Columbus, this black Jew, doing, talking about Jerusalem and the Garden of Eden being in South America?
Well, Moses.
This blew my mind. I'm reading this book like, oh man.
What book is this again? What book? So the people can be informed. What book is this you got again?
It's called Re-Encountering Christopher Columbus, and the textbook category is called a Heritage Reader by Carthage College. I believe it was 1994 that this book was in use, and no more after that.
Okay. All right.
It was an old college textbook. One of the elites, those elite colleges.
Yeah.
Where they send the cream of the crop, children of the rich,
right,
and famous, who are in the brotherhoods born into it. It was one of those colleges.
I got you.
Man. So that was really. Go ahead.
So Moses, the thing is, right? Because I be having these conversations with some folk, what I'm saying? We be talking about these kind of things, and we know not only was a Columbus swarthy, Sephardic, and working for the Roman Catholic, but we would call him Morisco. He's a Morisco, a converted Jew.
Yeah.
That was working. He was a privateer. He's a privateer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He was a missionary. You know what I mean? I'm working for the crown. I'm going to go over here and get this paper, but you know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I think because the Moors have these conversations. I had a Moor here. You know what I mean? Shout out to Imhotep, the brother came on here just like you are, and we talked about some things, and that's something I think consensus wise on a level we all kind of agree on.
Yeah.
Who was who and who came with who? Because just for a point of the matter, just for the fact of our conversation, from 1751, Benjamin Franklin, made an address to the mankind. In his address, he stated, all the places that were swarthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. He said America
don't know when I say swarthy. Yeah, for those that don't know when I say swarthy, you know what I'm saying? When I say swarthy, I'm talking about, we call today black. You know what I'm saying? So when I say swarthy, I'm talking about black folk. You know what I'm saying? From Germany, Switzerland, Northern, Scotland, Ireland, British. I'm talking about swarthy people, 13 colonies. All right. Spain, they were Sephardic, swarthy. French, swarthy. Swarthy people. You know what I mean? So
Hey,
I get
real
that
quick.
part. Most of them were expelled from in 1492 at the time frame you're talking about, right? And this is why
Mhm.
I can agree on a certain point of what you're saying. See, because of this, but this is where I get thrown off because me knowing that these certain type of people, individuals, got expelled in 1492 because of a holy war that was taking place between the Roman Catholic Church and anybody that wasn't Roman Catholic, basically. Let's keep it that
Well,
simple.
technically, it was, but in the words they pinpointed. They pinpointed. They said any Jew, pretty much anybody with a Hebraic understanding, and they said the Saracens, and the Berbers. They said if there was no, it was Dum Diversas. It was a papal bull called Dum Diversas, and bull meaning political decree. And in 1452, it was signed into action by the Pope saying that you have all right to go and violate these people and put them into perpetual servitude if they are not already worshiping Christ by the time you find them.
Well, being that you said that, I mean, let's you're on point. I mean,
And
that's not.
then why is it though? But check this out. Now this is more curious. Why is it that they didn't carry this decree 1452? This is what, 60, 70, 80, 40 years before Christopher Columbus sailed on the ocean blue, right? As the old poem goes.
Yeah.
But curiously enough, in that 40 years, they did not take this new decree anywhere in the East. They didn't go to Asia with this. They didn't penetrate into Eastern Africa with this. They didn't penetrate into the Middle East with this. Why was it that this only seemed to affect first the westernmost parts of Africa, the Maghreb, and America within a 50-year span? Within a 100-year span, the first empire taken down by this religious mission. That's why they call them the missionaries. It was
Missionary.
the capitals of America that fell. First Tenochtitlan, Mexico. Then came Cusco, Peru. And then came what we call DC, right? The Virginia Indians. Curiously enough, you're going to find out that the Virginia Indians are today the descendants of the true Inca. And that's a whole nother topic.
Mm.
That's a whole nother topic.
No. Go, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. Because so are you? Let me ask you this for the record, though. Are you saying that the Inca are Hebrew? Are you saying that the Hebrew mixed with the Inca? Let me ask you that question.
I'm saying that the Hebrews, regardless, are a people of mixture. We cannot deny that. This is why it's so easy to say, oh, that's not Hebrew, that's Canaanite. This is why it's so easy to say, oh, that's not Hebrew, it's Egyptian, right?
Interesting.
Because this is the mixture. It
Wait,
is what it is. But now peep game. There's a book by Garcilaso de la Vega. Anybody who's ever studied anything Inca knows about Garcilaso.
Right.
And he was a captured Inca himself. Sounded a lot like Christopher Columbus, like he was a Jew. He was crypto and he was acting like the best Christian there could be out in public, right? So he wrote a book called The Narrative of the Incas. This book to this day has not been translated into English. You have to learn the Portuguese Spanish and translate it word for word. But this book is a whole book. It's a whole account of this man saying that according to this Bible
Wow.
that was newly given over after he dissected the Old Testament, he said, "This is my people." So we have this on record. It's just not in English. And because ain't nobody gonna go through that toil, that labor, because we're a lazy people, and we're not gonna translate an old romantic dialect, we will deny it till our faces blue. But the book is right there, and there's so many more books. And I learned this from my fellow Moors that have not been translated, and they're in these old dusty cathedral libraries. And these books tell it all.
Yeah, the book they tell you they're gonna put it in the book. So that's why, what you just said right there kind of touched me real quick. You talking on some factual shit. The only thing is, again, most Hebrew Israelites, like I say it the way it is, right? You hear me, right? Can you hear me,
Right.
most? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
We'll say that these people that you just described in Washington D.C. that were Incan, right? Some Mayan, right? And you're right. Actually, you're. I mean, from what
Yeah.
I know, I would say you're right. But
I
guess
mean,
what?
because we have to go before, right? A lot of people, they're caught up on what happened just before we were taken down. And that's good to know. But what was our spirituality? What was our dialect 2, 3, no, 5, 10,000 years ago? I guarantee you, we were not calling ourselves no Cherokee, no Aniwina, none of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are still going around saying Seminole, brother. You in Florida, they was never called Seminole. They were the Tamaquan.
Tequesta, yeah.
But yet they will contest the research that I have done when they haven't even done the research to see what they were originally called. And the language barrier is everything. And for anybody that does have any type of Hebraic studies under them, they will know this dealing with the story of the Tower of Babel. The language barrier is everything right now. I will bet you this is probably anywhere from 60 and in some cases 90% of everybody's problem. Language barrier. What was then, what is now, how do we know? And there's been many assertions that have laid it out that you have Greek connotations in Indian languages, you have Asian elements, and you have very much Hebrew. So,
what about?
Like instance, go ahead.
What about Itza or Hittite?
Yep, the Itza, right? Now, curiously enough, that to the Z, the Itza, that is peculiar to only one recorded language on the earth, and that is the Hebrew. It's called the Zadi. It's the T and the Z as one character, as one letter. It's unique to that language.
Interesting. I never heard that before. Say that again.
Itza. In fact, Itza sounds very close in the way to say tree in Hebrew. When it was talking about Itza in the book of Genesis, the tree, Itza, tree, is also in a different pronunciation of those. You can say Itza, Yatza, Yitza. It also means the spine, talking about an upright being. So now you're going to get into metaphysics. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, now, Moses, I see you now, bro. I'm gonna let you ride with that one. Go ahead, keep going. I mean, I'm listening. You talking? Let me listen to you.
So one thing that I found in the Mayan record and the Aztec record was that the majority of the priests, and there was some wise men called, be it sages, magi, of other tribes, but there was
magi means,
language.
Right?
You said what?
You know what magi means, right?
Magi, yeah, magi, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. Like the magician, magi.
Okay. Yeah. Or if you want to be real archaic, you say Magian, right? Okay. Majin. So, yeah, there you go, Majin. So now you have a language within a language. It was recorded in the Mayan and the Aztec that the priests knew a language that the commoners didn't know. It was the same language, but such unique variants, right? And this was what they called the language of the gods, some cases the language of the sun.
Yeah, I could dig the sun part.
Mm-hmm. So,
But see, this is the thing, right? This
yeah,
not the pause that you building on. I'm building with you. We talking, right? So
yes,
this
sir.
the thing and the Indian correlation of DeSoto. DeSoto came, up a certain river.
Oh yeah.
It came up a certain river, right? And that river, the Ocean River, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
Ocean River, also is also called amongst indigenous people the Altamaha River, right? Now this Altamaha River, they're dealing with this language that you're talking about right now.
Okay.
This is in
Yeah.
1540. This is how they described the people. This is how they said these people's cultures set up, language and everything. We just having a conversation. So on that tip, these people you're saying, are you saying that these people's language, even though it can be correlated to Hebrew as you broke it down just now, are you saying that they were actual Hebrew people? Because as you break down Hebrew, just so because I know me and you can talk actually. We're gonna do this again.
Right.
I like to have these conversations. Just for the sake of people being able to hear us dialogue the way we dialoguing about this kind of information that people talk about in the conscious or certain spectrums of the world, right? So
Right.
the word Hebrew. What's your breakdown of the word Hebrew? What's Hebrew mean to you?
Okay, so Hebrew, where it comes from in the book of Genesis, it names a lineage. So let's first deal with the lineage. Because if the Hebrews are an actual living people, a race of people, they will be found tracing back from someone, right? Like we say, oh, these are Hamites, or if you are Kemetic, you come from Kem. You know what I'm saying? Kem was an actual person, and you are a descendant of one of his many. So in Genesis, it mentions Noah's son Shem. Now, whether we ascribe to that or not, this is where we have to start for our basis. And Shem eventually has a great grandson. Yeah, I can hear you now. You're low though. Hey, peace be unto you if you can hear me, brother Tito Pop.
What's happening? What's going on with you, man?
All right. Doing all right. Blessings.
Nah, you don't want to use that word, bruh.
Hey,
blessings is a curse, bruh.
okay, let's switch it up. Barakut. Well, yeah, technically, hey, you'll be surprised. A lot of English words is like that, most definitely. I'm hip. Yo. Brother Yogi, you on mute.
I can't. Yeah, you on mute?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
So you mute. Yep. Before I get started. All right. So I want to know something. The brother Moses Bones has come on and he's talking about, America's the old world. I met the brother in that group, you know what I'm saying? He's presented some information. Cheeto Pa, Chaitu Pa, Noble Pa.
Chatu.
Okay, that's how you pronounce it.
Don't get mad.
Apologies for the mispronunciation. Chatu.
Yeah.
Like I always because I don't know why I got the echo. That's throwing me a little off. But
My cousin be calling me a motherfucking snack, Cheeto.
Yeah, Cheeto. I'm sorry. No,
it can get cheesy. You heard me? It can get cheesy. You heard me? It can get cheesy.
No, but for real
Yes,
though,
sir.
Pa, that's why I just say, my cuz right here though, when it comes to this information dealing with indigenous information, this man right here is going to be able to correlate because he speaks and understands the language of those people you're talking about.
Okay,
And
nice.
the correlation of the words that you were talking about with these people.
All right.
All right. Okay, so
All right. I did
go ahead and
a
give your
post.
explanation of this, please.
I did a post on Christopher Colombo, or who they call Christopher Columbus, right? And the motherfucker lied, man. He lied. Cause you could go to his journal. In his journal, he'd say he wrote a letter to the Pope. You got an echo.
We're working on it. Go ahead, though.
Yeah. He wrote a letter to the Pope, and he had it stated in his journal that he came up across a river and he thought that he was in Eden. And he said that when he was in Hispaniola, he called Hispaniola paradise. So now you got two accounts of this motherfucker saying paradise, Eden is in Hispaniola, right? And then he turned around and said that it's down there in South America by the Amazon. You know what I'm saying? This nigga is fucking confused.
Well, you would be confused too.
Actually, hold up. Actually, if you was to go to my post, or you could go online, have Cousin Kofi go online, pull it up, and show where Christopher Columbus said that Eden was in Hispaniola. You gotta unmute. You gotta unmute, cuz I can't hear you. You on mute, Mac.
Yeah, brother Mac, you on mute. We can't hear you.
See, that's the thing. See, I'm trying to keep this echo from going, so I'm gonna have to do it like this because I don't know what's going on.
Maybe let me mute.
You know what I mean? But no, I don't know what that is. That's weird because before I was able to do everything right. I don't know what happened. We had a click.
Because I don't hear an echo on none of y'all.
You just went back on mute. Yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Now you're on mute.
The fuck?
I think he's trying to do the auto, but it ain't working.
All right.
Bones, you the one that's echoing.
I don't know what's going on. All right, so I'm gonna have a little echo in my background, so mind me, because I don't know what happened just now. We smooth for a minute, but something happened. But go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. Have Kofi to pull up the screen to show where Christopher Columbus said that Hispaniola was the Garden of Eden, was paradise.
Hispaniola, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Hispaniola. I thought you was gonna say that. You got that, Coke?
Garden of Eden was Hispaniola.
Yeah, Garden of Eden was Hispaniola, Christopher Columbus. That's what you said, right?
Correct.
All right, he's gonna pull it up. We're gonna pull it up on the screen. I like to have these conversations like this because information is in a time where we need to get it right, It's a good combo. Why not? You got, if it's there, the fingertips are pulling it up. I don't know what the heck happened tonight though. They got me with the glitch. I got double talk now. Got something going on and stuff. When I'm ready to get it in.
That's because you got some real conversation. You got powerful brothers on here.
It's all good though. That's what's supposed to be.
I know Chaito Pie serious because brothers be tagging him on my post trying to get the dialogue popping.
Yeah,
so
I've been trying to get this happen before this happened.
Yeah, that's Michael Rock that be tagging me. That'd be Michael Rock.
Yo. Hey, that's a good thing though. Bring brothers together. Let's hash this out. It's all love. But this is the way I like to do it. I like to do it formally.
All right, now they ain't hearing me no more on that. So
I can hear you now because you just unmuted.
Yeah, I have to unmute my mic though. Before I was able to mute this, and now I ain't working that way. So I'm gonna keep it moving. So what you want them to do? What you want to go to, Pop?
Tell them to read the poem when Christopher Columbus said that the Garden of Eden was right there in Hispaniola,
That's it
which
right there,
will
right?
be which will be Haiti in the Dominican Republic today.
What did it say
Can
right
you
there?
read it? Can you read it? Because I can't see it.
I'll read it for you. Hold on. Let me back it up. I don't want no echo. Damn it.
I'll mute. I'll mute.
Mute. Yeah, mute y'all real quick, please. Mute y'all. So see if I can get some of it not. All right, maybe it's a little bit better. Unhighlight it. I see it now. Unhighlight it. Bring it down so I can see the top part. All right, so for the first 2 weeks of August 1498, Columbus and his small fleet explored the Gulf of Paera, which separates Trinidad from mainland South America. In the process of this exploration, they discovered the island of Margarita, as well as several smaller islands. They also discovered the mouth of Orinoco River. Such a mighty freshwater river could only be found on a continent, not an island. And increasingly, the religious Columbus concluded that he had found the site of the Garden of Eden. Columbus fell ill around this time and ordered the fleet to head to Hispaniola, which they reached on August 19th. All right, there you go. What we saying now? What else you want me to pull up?
Is that it?
Is that what you saying? Pop? Is that
Yeah.
what you talking about?
Yeah.
Garden of Eden.
And that was in his journal and what he wrote. Now, Brother Bones had said, according to this book that the Inca had supposed to wrote, right? That said Christopher Columbus had supposed to went right there in the Amazon, and that's supposed to have been the Garden of Eden or paradise. Now, you know me and my New Orleans voice, nigga, which one is it?
Well, that one just said that he thought Eden was in South America. The Orinoco River runs from Venezuela to Peru.
No, they said the island that was between it. They said the island that was between it.
No. It said that's where they first came into, brother. Let's go back to it.
Go back to it. Let's go back to it now. Wait. It's what it say now. Wait. All right, so for the first 2 weeks of August 1498, Columbus and his small fleet explored the Gulf of Paera, which separates Trinidad from mainland South America. In the process of this exploration, they discovered the island of Margarita, as well as several smaller islands. They also discovered...
Stop right there. Salaki, forgive me. They also, after they discovered this island, they also discovered the mouth of the Orinoco. That is in Venezuela, brother. That's South America.
Finish reading. Watch what it says.
Okay. Such a mighty freshwater river could only be found on a continent and not an island.
Now, hold on. It's not South America a continent. It's not South America a continent.
Yeah, you said that he said Hispaniola. No, it doesn't. He never says that. It never
he
says
said
that
about the island.
Was Eden.
Finish reading, Mac, when it said, but it's found on the island.
Found on not. Hold on, let me stop. Such a mighty fresh river could only be found on a continent and not an island. And increasingly in religious, Columbus concluded that he found the site of the Garden of Eden.
Right
Columbus
there.
fell ill around this time and ordered the fleet to head to Hispaniola, which they reached on August 19th.
So
really,
remember what I said to you earlier? I had said I had said a lot of people don't know. They think that Christopher Columbus never discovered the mainland. He did. The Orinoco River is in Venezuela, and it's a huge freshwater river. That's northern South America. You go Venezuela, then you go Colombia, Ecuador, and then Peru. And it's all bordered by the Brazilian Amazon. He was talking about South America.
Guess what? Even if he was to did that, but go back to the book of Becherie. Go back to the book of Becherie, which they call Genesis.
Hold on. Let's deal with that first. I got to hear that, because you have to understand one thing though, and this is all out of love, that you were wrong about that. That's not what it says at all.
Yeah.
In
Right,
his
he's
journal.
right about that.
It's
It does
confirming what
say
I said the whole
South
time.
America, and that he headed to Hispaniola. It does say it right here. We're looking at the same thing. We're all looking at it. This is the document. This is what Columbus said. What you told me to point out. I'm just for the
Right.
record. You know what I mean? So it does say that basically this is the Osceola River that is located, based on what the brother is saying, in South America. And
But
that
why
they
he
headed-
said that? You
He
said they
fell
edited it.
ill and then left. He fell ill. He got sick there. Then he had to go back to Hispaniola.
No, what did he say about the fresh water being not found on a continent but on an island?
No, it's the other way.
He
Wait,
reversing everything.
wait. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me, right?
Right.
I got this shit back right. I finally got it back right. I'm sorry about that. So that's what it is. All right, so boy, let me tell y'all, we learning. But good information, that's what happens though, you know. Real shit happens like that, you know what I mean? But we gonna get it back right. So I thank y'all for y'all patience with me as y'all tap into this information, this conversation we having tonight. So we gonna get it right though, because we got a little time. Let's really get this part right though. So Pop, is this what the document that you wanted me to pull up based off of
Yes.
information of Columbus?
Yes.
This is it, right?
Yes.
Just make sure this is the document dealing with Christopher Columbus. And it says, for the first 2 weeks of August 1498.
Yeah, they also
Columbus-
discovered a mount. Yeah.
All right, this is it, right?
Such mighty fresh water river could only be found on a continent and not an island.
Right. So that means it couldn't have been Hispaniola, because Hispaniola is an island, and South America is the continent.
Hey, pull up the map. Go to Google Maps. Type in Orinoco River.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next. Matter of fact, that's a good. Paul asked us to pull that up. We're gonna pull that for him. Let's do that. Let's pull up the Okinawa River real quick.
The Orinoco, and the Orinoco. Some trace it back to a river having gold because of oros. There's a lot of places of gold, de oros, all around that region.
So let me ask you this. For Christopher Columbus to state that, how he go against what it said in the Bible?
He was using the Bible the whole time to prove it. That's what made it so profound. And he was using the Apocrypha, the 15 books that most Bibles have taken out since 1939.
What was the rivers that came out of the Garden of Eden?
Well, we can definitely get into that. That's why we're dealing with this language barrier. Right when you came on, the subject was, how can we say that any of this has any ties to anything Hebraic, but yet we have no literature of these people saying they're Hebraic? That's where we have to talk.
Right. That's facts.
Because we can prove, and look, to substantiate this, we can look at the Chinese record. There's a Chinese record of the Buddhist missions, and it's called Fushang, pronounced Huishang in the original. The Fushang, a place far, far east that the Chinese wrote about. We're talking about thousands of years BC all the way up to AD. You're going to find out yoga comes from America. You're going to find out that the knowledge of the chakras come from America. And they also said Fushang, the land of paradise, where the tree of life is. This is even in the Chinese record. So you have confirmation upon confirmation. Let everything be established by 2 or 3 witnesses.
Okay, what you say, Pop?
So dealing with that, right? What is the word for paradise?
You said it. That's one. Paradise. You have Gan. You have Aidan as well, right? Now, you would say none of this makes any sense. This is not in the Mayan language. This is not in the Inca language. But whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, the whole of the Mayan language, we have to rely one way or another. None of us got to where we are without the documents of foreigners, whether you call it a European, a conquistador, or whether you call it one of those Filipinos claiming to be Mexican. We have to get it from somewhere because it was robbed from us. It was erased from so many of us that the little we have just enough to know that we are attached to these people. But the whole wide culture, you cannot say you do. You cannot say that you know the whole culture of exactly what the Mayans were doing, how they were doing, and how they were speaking based on the history that happened to our people.
Well, the Mayans, that's not their name. Okay,
Oh, we know
that's a
that.
misnomer. That's a
We know that.
misnomer. Okay, now this is where I have a problem at, because when I asked about what's the name for paradise, you said one of them, then you said Dawid or Gandan, right? But you say Edan. Well, you have to remember, before it was called Edan, it was called Eden, Edin, which is actually Sumerian. Because if you go back to the book of Ezra, Ezra was the one who actually got the scribe, because he was the scribe, and he got the information from the Sumerians when he was in Babylon in captivity. That's
Can you
when
prove
Ezra
that he
became
got
the
it from
scribe.
them? Can you prove that he got it from them,
Prove
though?
it. Oh, for sure,
Show me a document
because
where it says that Ezra was
the
taught by
story,
the Babylonians.
the story is dealing with the Elish, the Etrahasi, and the Gilgamesh epics, dealing with the cuneiform tablets that is thousands of years before the Torah.
Yeah, so the Gilgamesh has nothing to do with Ezra's time. I said prove that Ezra learned from the Babylonians. The Gilgamesh is way before Ezra.
He learned. Ezra became one of the priests of Babylon. That's what they're not telling you. He became one of the priests of Babylon.
Well, we
He
know
was in the.
Abraham.
He was in
Abraham
the.
was of the priest too. Abraham was a Chaldean. He was of the great magician class of Nimrod's Babylonian Sumerian Empire. We have strong connections to that.
Well, Nimrod was dead before he even got there. But
Exactly.
even dealing with that, dealing with the brotherhood, the white brotherhood, right? That's where he got that information from. Because you can see your so-called Hebrew words, I'm coming, so-called Hebrew words, that is actually, when you deal with the etymology, you see it goes back to the Sumerian language dealing with the cuneiform. Because when you go to the tablets, right, in the so-called book of Genesis dealing with the 10th chapter, they give you the names of the nations, and they say in their languages that was dealing with that, right? So therefore, you already had Abraham, who was a Chaldean, right, from the city of Ur. So he didn't know of no Yah at that time, because the Bible already said it. They said what? Abraham did not know me by my name,
He only
because
knew El
Abraham.
Shaddai.
Abraham knew him as Anu, and then when he crossed over the Sumerian plains going down into the land of Canaan, then he started dealing with El Shaddai or El Yahweh or Elohim El. But he knew of Anu first.
Okay, so now I'm glad you brought that up, though, because that's true.
You say he was a Chaldean.
We can definitely agree on the language, because the story is everyone had one language. All was one language at one time, right? At one time, I wouldn't. There was one universal language. In the beginning of man, one language was spoken.
That's what they said. That's what they said in the Torah. That's what they said. But
if you're going to use the Torah to back up the story that you just gave me, I'm going to use that same Torah. It's validated by you in your story to say that all people spoke one language. So when we say
I told you they got that from the Sumerians. Go back and look at the timeline when they're telling you, dealing with that one language, that was dealing with the Tower of Babel, all right, which is in Samaria. Okay, yeah. That ain't got nothing to do with Hebrew. That's not a Hebrew timeline right there. That was dealing with people that was before the Hebrews. They predated the Hebrews.
The Hebrews.
So that was the Hebrews creation story. That was the Hebrews That was the Sumerian creation story.
Everybody has that creation story. Here in America, they have the Great Flood. Over there in India, they have the Great Flood. Zep Tepi of the Egyptians have the Great Flood.
Guess what? every part that they had a great flood in their own land. When you go back and you read it, there wasn't talking about covering the whole earth.
No, yeah, it was never. And this is where you know if you're only dealing with the Torah on the biblical level, nah, because we have to go to the actual language, whether it's Hebrew or not, it's an older language and it's a more accurate source. You go to the book of Jubilees that predates the Bible, which was one of the books of Moses. It tells you it was only the Garden of Eden that was flooded. Sounds a lot like a specific locale. Everyone knew of Atlantis, this great ancient pre-Diluvian American super civilization.
Let me ask you this: what is the etymology? What's the etymology? What's the etymology of Atlantis?
Everybody knows it's Atalant.
And where's that located?
Well, you already know it's American oriented.
He said Assalon. Now he said what he said? He said Assalon.
From my investigation, it was actually dealing with the Greeks in them, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, the Greeks were the ones who had a good record of it, but we know that everything that the Greeks spoke, they were speaking the Egyptian histories of this land. Everyone will tell you the Egyptian pre-Solon as well. Everyone will tell you that they got these records from the Egyptians, and the Egyptians said that all life started west of the pillars of Hercules.
Wait, stop.
Hold on. What papyrus say that?
Wait, man. Hold on. Moses. So, based off what you just said, are you familiar with Herodotus?
Yep, what they call the father of history.
Okay, so Herodotus spoke,
and these were black folks. The Greeks were black at this time. Let's keep that in mind.
I know he's swarthy. We ain't got to even go into all that part. See, I ain't even worried. See, you ain't even got to talk to me as if these folks we talking about are some pale-skinned people. Okay, we ain't doing that. Okay, this is not the kind of conversation we on here, right? We passed that point. Feel me? I ain't caught up in that vibe. Feel me? We on some real shit in this conversation here. So we know they dark-skinned people. But so Herodotus, father of history, you said. Greek, Roman, all that shit, right? So I'm gonna say Greek though. I'm gonna stick to the Greek timeline, right? So Herodotus wrote about a people because we know the ancient place, the ancient city of Kemet, which the Egyptians called Egypt or Ego-Kips, whatever you want to call it, a term, right? But the Egyptians, Kemet, the city is called Meru. M-O-R, Meru.
Yeah.
The city,
Mount Meru.
The ancient city of Kemet was called Meru. You know what I'm saying? Or Moro. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Excuse me. One or the other, Meru or Moro. So this city, are you saying that these people they call Meropes, which meant Westerner, is what they were talking about when you say that?
I've seen that as well. Yeah, Western. Even in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which I have that, I can pull it up. It tells you. It tells you in the Book of the Dead that these were called the Wefeneret, the Westerners, and it tells you the Wefeneret, the Westerners, and it tells you that this was the battlefield of the gods and where the gods came to be laid to rest, where the sun sets, and it was talking about the Americas.
Would that be?
Hold on.
Go ahead. What are you saying, bro?
If that's in the Book of the Dead, what that's by your boy what Book of the Dead that you have?
I'd have to double check the publisher, but they all say it. Every translation you get will say that. Of the Book of the Dead.
Hey, Pa. Go ahead, Pa. Go aheid. What are you gonna say?
No. What you about to ask me?
Well, being of the Book of the Dead, right? You know what I'm saying? See, this come back to I want to ask him a question when he said the Book of the Dead, because I kind of see where these things are leading somewhat. You know what I'm saying? So, are you saying, Moses, that is that correlating to the Teotihuacan and the Valley of the Dead and the pyramid of the sun and the moon based off South America? Is that where you're going with the whole Book of the Dead situation? Or are you correlating the Book of the Dead with the South American pyramids of the sun and the moon and Teotihuacan Is that where you're going with this situation? Just real quick, just to get there. You said that
Yeah,
he was dead.
definitely going more of a Central American, Southwest American region with the Book of the Dead, because when you look at Peru and South America, that's even older. It's a fact now. We can argue about the Olmecs. We're all connected. The Inca knew about the Maya more than anybody else, contrary to what we've been taught. Some people think they had nothing to do with each other, but in South America, you have the older relics. So that came from a time before the Kemetic conquering or habitation of the lands we call Egypt, which is none other than the lands of America, the mainland that is still above water after the great destruction of that capital we call Atlantis today.
I understand that part. Paul, what you got to say about that?
And Kara Supe proves that.
Well, in history, based off the documentation, I think where you're getting the information from. Yeah, that's stated. But Paul,
Hold on, wait. Man, go get the Book of the Dead and show us the pages that you're reading it. I
Matter of
want
fact,
to see
I
this.
shared it on one of my posts. You can type it in on one of my posts. I took a picture of it.
Hey, Moses, do your screen? Are you on a computer right now? You can share your screen, by the way. Everybody that's in this conversation can pull up what you want to pull up if you have.
Hey, you know what, brother? I love you. I got my Empress. She's going to grab it right now, and I'm gonna read it for you.
No, it's no pressure. Bro.
Yeah.
If you were on a computer, based off the link I sent y'all, like y'all could actually share your information on a screen.
Okay. Next time I'm gonna have to, because I got the computer right here. Next time I have to do that.
Yeah, it's no pressure. I know you probably did it from your phone. You know what I'm saying. But based off of our build we're doing, if we want to go in and show and prove on certain things we talking about, all you gotta do is type in where you know the source is, put it on your computer, and then you could pull up y'all screens and we can really dissect what y'all talk about. So you ain't even gotta really go hard on the back and forth shit. You know what I'm saying? We can just pull that shit up.
I feel it because it's quicker. But anyhow, I got the book.
So either way, I see you pulling up. All right, that's all right.
All right, what's
the author of that book? What's the author?
So it's the credits are due to Dr. Ogden Golet Jr., Dr. Raymond O. Faulkner, Carol A.R. Andrews, J. Daniel Gunther, and James Wasserman.
Interesting.
And now, like I said in the beginning, anybody will be disingenuous with me if they tell me that they have never, ever had to rely on foreigners' work of ancient archaeology, because that's just what it is right now. Where we woke up in the last days, we're born in the last days, and finding out, wow, we are these people that fit the description of these Israelites. We are God's chosen. We are the gods of earth, but we have lost our crown. You've been stripped, brother. So you have to rely on all of this.
How did the Hebrews get over here?
We've always been here. But that's on my seminar. That's why I'm doing my seminar, to prove that we've always been here.
When you say
because we were somebody before we were called Hebrews, we were somebody.
Okay, all right. Now when you say that, you're okay. Wait. When you say that, I get what are you saying that in the content of that dark-skinned people that were considered a race of people that were living here already, that were here already, and then later described as the people that you're talking about that were early living, that were living in the traditions of a certain thing, now described in the Hebrew text to be the people, and also the fact that these original people that you're talking about were the ones that actually were
they gave birth to this older people that we're talking about, that we can all trace ourselves back to. You can call them by however many names.
Right.
What I'm trying to say here is the reason why I believe the Hebrew is important, because I believe that this was the priest language that nobody will teach you, especially if they're looking at you knowing you're the true thing. That priest language has been stripped of this earth because of the power in it, because we have the power as gods to speak and manifest our reality. That true, pure, unadulterated language that everybody knew at one time was stripped. And now we can go into spirituality, because that's the spirituality of the Inca and the Maya, which correlates with the Hebrew and the prophecies. But I want to focus on the points that you made, brother, because you said you wanted me to bring this out.
Well, I mean, we having a conversation, so Paul, what you got to say about that, man? 'Cause I brought you in because man, you asked some questions, so we having this conversation about America's the old world. Go ahead, man. Drop your side.
I like to know, how is this the old world according to who?
According to who?
According to the rocks. Look, this has to be the old world first and foremost because the geology. When now I'm going to deal with many parts. According to science, if you think there's any validity in geology and they tell you about rock sediment and how they can date these things, they will tell you the oldest dinosaur fossils, which we know are the dragons that the ancestors wrote about. We have them carved in rocks in Peru. The oldest are here. The rocks are here. Secondly, we have the oldest civilizations when you talk about archaeology. Now you have it to where Sacsayhuaman, Peru, that great fortress temple on the north, as the Hebrew scriptures say the holy city is, there's dates of 30,000 BC. That's older than anything coming out.
Wait. You talk about Machu Picchu. You talk about Machu Picchu?
No, I'm talking about Sacsayhuaman. But Machu Picchu is the next connection up.
Wait.
That was a mud fossil. That was an ancestor.
And Moses, we brought that up in the beginning, right? And I asked you about Machu Picchu in the beginning.
Yep.
And I told you that Machu Picchu was dealing with Tupac Amaru, right?
Yep.
Now, all three of us in this conversation, in this Autonomous Party logo, is in the group on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And I actually shared that link that we're talking about right now. Yeah. Just off of the correlation of what I heard from both of you. You know what I'm saying? So I shared the link to that right there. And it goes back to a person now, by the way, that me and you talked about before Paul even came on. So
but hold on, wait. But hold on. Before we go into that, let me backtrack. The reason why, here it is. When Christopher Columbus did that trail, okay, he did his first slave trade in 1493, going to 1495. Okay, that was taking the Taino and the Arawaks, all right, to Spain. All right. Yeah. So that was before he even made it to South America.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this: how could he say that he was on the mission to recapture Jerusalem when they know doggone well that Jerusalem is not over here in the West?
See, that's what we're trying to tell you. The question is, why was it written that way? What are they not telling you? That's why we're saying we have to rearrange everything. Ain't nobody ever, that place in the Middle East was never ever known as Israel to any indigenous people over there until 1948.
Okay.
No, but it was Jerusalem before that, though. It was Jerusalem before that.
On the Renaissance maps?
It was called Jerusalem with a Y. Jerusalem before it was Jerusalem.
Map? Anybody can draw a map. They did it all the time in the Renaissance.
No. When you go back and you look at it, no, I'm talking about dealing with the language. It was called Jerusalem with a Y before they even came up with a J. And the Greeks in them was the ones they call it Jerusalem. Go back and look at the word Jerusalem and see what's the origin of it. Is it not Greek? It's not Jerusalem with the H. Is not Greek.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Greece wasn't even where they tell you it was. First of all, we have to understand this. And I've talked with actual Palestinians, Sudanese, real Muslims that will tell you who have their ancestors have occupied that land since time immemorial. That they are the children of Abraham through Ishmael. Abraham told his children to travel far east to get to the Middle East, and that to be far east, you have to be in America. Second of all, there is no record. This is what I'm trying to tell you. There is no record amongst the indigenous people of Arabia that land was called Jerusalem. in ancient times. It does not exist. That place wasn't called Babylon over there. None of that. All of that is fake, brother. The archaeology tells you. This is why I'm going into this, because when you read
Wait,
the
wait, wait,
actual
wait, wait, wait,
Hebraic
wait. Hold
record,
on. Wait,
the
hold
old
on.
record of
How you go?
Jerusalem, it doesn't match up.
Wait, how you gonna say that's fake when in 1991 and also with Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and also when they went after Saddam Hussein, why did they destroy the Stargate that was actually built that Saddam actually did in the city in Iraq?
Because there's
Why
many
did they
Stargates around the
bomb
world.
it?
Stargates are not exclusive to America. The question is, where did that Stargate take you? There's Stargates
No,
in
that
China.
was the
There's
Sumerian. That was
Stargates
the
in Europe.
Sumerian. That was dealing with the Sumerian text and all the museum over there. He was
That was
about to
dealing with
reconstruct.
pre-flood. And it tells you in the Atlantean record that the Atlanteans conquered the whole world before that great destruction of their capital. And it tells you about how the Greeks, the Hellenics, right? Before there was Greeks, there were the Hellenics. Tells you about how the Hellenics used to have to do battle with them. It tells you all of that. So the whole world was conquered by the Anunnaki. Atlantis was just the capital of it all. They planted in America to make their super civilization. There's no such thing as any. I'm telling you, where was the history in the pre-flood before Noah came in the Bible? Where was all of that?
That wasn't even much Noah, bro. The dude name was called Unterfish. His name was Unterfish.
You could talk about language. I'm trying to get to the subject matter because, like I said, language barrier is a problem for 60 to 90% of everything. You know who I'm trying to say, brother.
So when you saying that the Ark of the Covenant is, I mean, where you saying that the Ark is then? Where the Ark is located at?
Come on, brother. You keep bouncing around. Why cannot we talk about one thing at a time? You keep bouncing
because
around.
we're talking about the flood. We're talking about the flood. Okay,
you want to go to the old Indian legends? You want to go to the old Indian legends? The old Indian legends have them too. The Virginia and the North Carolina.
What Indians?
And the Inca have the Great Flood. Go Google it.
And those floods are not the same floods either. You already established that earlier.
Everybody's talking about the same flood and they don't even know.
No, they're not talking about the same flood. Earlier, you said it was different floods. You said that earlier. When I told you that those floods are not the same floods, bruh.
You told me that. I've stated the facts. That if everybody came from a common ancestor before the flood, if everybody came from somebody who survived, then it would make sense that everybody's talking about the same land and the same people, and they don't even know. That's what religion has done. It has made us think we're talking about different people when we're not.
Bro, that's not the same people.
This should be to your pride, because if you claim to be an Aboriginal American, we're telling you we are the fathers and the mothers of all life on earth, and even the ancient texts back it up. How is that not awesome?
Bro, what text? What text back it up?
Pop. Hold on, wait.
Because he give me a Hebrew version. You got versions that's way older than
that. First of all, like I said, let's go back to this.
But get back to that.
I found it.
All right, get back to that.
So this is in the Ba of the Osiris, tomorrow, yesterday, the Bennu bird. And the Bennu bird is the great blue heron, according to Indian legend, was the first bird to be created by the creator, and it was in America.
What tribe? What tribe? Because everybody got a different creation story, bro.
Okay, you have this in the Cherokee and the Tamakuan.
Well,
now let's get to this.
No. Show that. You said that's what it's dealing with. Show that. Let's back it up.
Look. We'll back up all
because
things.
The Cherokees ain't got nothing to do with Egypt, bro.
Because I'm showing you this. Hey, let's get to this. Look.
That ain't it. The Cherokee word. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know y'all talk, but can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Y'all been going in. I'm gonna let y'all. I enjoyed that shit. To be real with you, I was sitting back like, okay, you have to fuck Mac. Fuck Mac. They going in. Fuck Mac. It's cool. All right. But I know it's a good vibe. I like how y'all real talk. It was a great conversation, and I think people getting what you know what I mean. It's a great conversation. That's why fuck that. But what I'm trying to say to y'all is, right now, overall, See, that done fucked my whole shit up, dog. I ain't gonna lie. You see that for real? Stop them.
Hey,
It
it's
was like
all love. It's all love.
real. Oh, go ahead, man. Fuck it. Keep going. I gotta come back to that shit.
Okay. I want to read this. This is out the Book of the Dead. This is what was requested. This is plate 7B, right? 7A, plate 7A and 7B. It's really called the Book of the Going Forth by Day.
I know about that. That's the same thing as the Book of the Dead. Yeah. Come on, forth by day. Right. Go ahead.
So he says, to me belongs yesterday, I know tomorrow. What does it mean? As for yesterday, that is Osiris. As for tomorrow, that is Ra. On the day in which the foes of the Lord of all were destroyed and his son Horus was made to rule. Right? Otherwise said, that is the day of the We Remain festival. Sounds like a festival that Noah and his 3 sons and all their wives would do. We remain, right? But we'll get to that. When the burial of Osiris.
Hold on, what was the festival? What was the festival? What was the festival?
It was called the We Remain Festival because out of everybody that was killed, it was only a small people who remained alive after the Great Destruction.
I'm doing it.
And how was that festival done?
Well, it goes into details in other ways, but you're going to find out that there's strong ties to this in more than one Indian tribe. You're always going to find a parallel, like the Green Corn Festival is parallel with the Feast of Tabernacles. Like it's amazing when you actually get to the specifics of it. It's a beautiful thing, you know. But here we go.
Wait. You talk about the green corn.
No, let's read. No, let's read. No.
You brought them. Go ahead. Read it.
The battleground of the gods was made in accordance with my command. Where was this battleground of the gods of ancient times? What does it mean? It is the West. It was made for the souls of the gods in accordance with the command of Osiris, Lord of the Western Desert. Otherwise said, it means that this is the West, to which Ra made every god descend, and he fought the 2 for it. So that's just one instance. When you actually
the West of what? The West of what? Because they didn't say the West of America.
It doesn't have to in the context of the history that they're writing it in their time. Now we have to do what is called a deduction, right? We have to deduce according to evidence. If we believe that ancient Egypt was in Northeast Africa and that all of these gods, a lot of people were killed, and then the gods afterwards and at that time were taken to this far west, this western region, this western desert to be buried. Where is the archaeological proof anywhere in West Africa, the Sahara, the Congo? In fact, you're going to find out that oddly enough, West Africa is one of the only places on the earth that doesn't have pyramids dating to ancient time. There's no archaeological evidence.
Dude, when they was talking about the West, when they was talking about the West, they was not talking about over here, bro.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
All right.
Because they say that the West is the land of the dead.
The land of the dead. Where the sun
what are all these pyramids and shrines? Did you know that in every single, from Chichen Itza to Tenochtitlan to Teotihuacan to the pyramids in the Grand Canyon, all the way to the ones in Peru, you have tombs on top of tombs, in it, under it, labyrinths.
They showed where in the Grand Canyon that was actually a hoax.
Artifacts.
That's a hoax. That's a hoax. That was found to be a hoax.
Okay, so, you sound like mainstream now.
That became a hoax.
All
right, you got to take my word for it. You got to take my word for it.
Hopi and Navajo Indians themselves.
You got to take my word for it.
Hopi and Navajo Indian themselves. These tribes that are still in those lands. The Egyptians were there.
Who showed them? So hold on, wait. If this is supposed to be Egypt,
on the rocks, Egyptian hieroglyphs carved on the rocks, the petroglyphs showing the story.
Showing the story of what?
Showing the story of these ancient texts, brother. Do you
bruh,
really believe that our people, there's
bruh,
no record of our people of ancient times being gods,
bruh,
rulers, kings, and queens?
bruh, bruh. If you read what the Hopis and them said, and you know dealing right there, they say that they came from the east, not from the west. So if they came from the east, then how over here going to be the so-called Egypt or
See, now,
Kemet?
now that's another conundrum, because if you're in Europe, you're going to say this is West. But if you're in China, remember, like I said, let everything be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Not only did we find out that Christopher Columbus could use the scriptures to prove that this was the paradise, at the same token, when the Chinese have a story of a paradise.
Wait, how can he prove that it's the paradise when you read it in Genesis chapter 2? It said about the 4 rivers that come out of the head of the river that comes out of the
Mhm.
Garden of Eden. And the
Yeah.
word Eden is spelled Edin.
No,
So
that's English,
tell
brother. That's English.
no,
Eden is
that's
really,
Sumerian.
Eden is
No,
really
that's
Ayin,
Sumerian.
Ayin Dalet Nun. Those are the
That's
3
Sumerian.
Hebrew letters. The
That's
Ayin
Sumerian.
Dalet Nun. It is
Tell
actually
Kofi
the
to pull
root
it
word
up.
in
Tell
Madonna,
Kofi to
which
pull it
means
up.
sweet influence.
Tell
And we
Kofi to
know
pull
that
it
the
up.
Black Madonna was Egyptian
Take it
too.
off of mute. Take it off of mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. All right. Tell Kofi to type in EDIN. Because I can't do it from my phone.
Damn. So
All right.
right here. We're about to have this conversation again. We're gonna set this for a certain time. Moses, I respect you for what you're doing. You're standing on your square foot. You standing on.
Hey,
You
I'm just genuine about this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The whole thing is like we have to get over this language barrier, because you just spelled an ancient name in a modern language, brother, and you're trying to prove your point off of that. You can never do that.
Bruh, you just already said dealing with the languages. So if you go say that, bruh, then you can't read the translation of the coming forth by day that was translated into English. You can't do that. If you gonna use a book that was translated into English, how you gonna tell me about using a word to translate an ancient word, but you doing it with the English?
Hey, don't you know that's why I'm a linguist. I study, brother. The same way I come at you with the Hebrew, I can go into a Hebrew word and tell you what it means, brother. You have to at least do some studies. I'm not going to sit here and say that I can speak it perfectly, but reading and studying is 2 different things.
It's Eden. All right, not Eden. Eden is English. It's Eden. Kofi, pull it up, please.
We can't pull it up, man. Well, I'm gonna do this. I had a phone, right? Let me see that. I got the phone joint right here. I had to pull up the phone because my shit freezing if I do that. I ain't gonna try to stop this conversation we having because it's a great one, right? EDIN, right? It's predominantly Bosnian. Bosnian. See, I fucked them words up. Masculine given name of Aramaic and Hebrew origin and of surname. Notably, persons with that name include.
Go to dealing with the Sumerian Eden.
Okay, hold on. Eden with EDIN and
in Sumerian.
It's Sumerian. Hold on, wait a second.
Because the Sumerian language predates Hebrew.
Hey, what I'm trying to tell you is that before it was called Hebrew, it was called something else too. What I'm trying to say is that there was a certain priesthood in these specific American peoples that was able to preserve this original language of creation. They became known as the Hebrew.
Which American people?
Okay,
you know how many tribes there was?
Let's go to the Incas. How did the Incas say they came about?
How did the Incas say they came about?
Inca creation story.
I don't know the Incas creation story, but I know my creation story.
So when I speak upon the Incas and you don't know, that's where now, just like I'm the student and you're the teacher in some cases, you got to be vice versa, because you're talking to somebody who has studied the Incas. And when I tell you that they talk about the great flood, they talk about life before Adam and a time when there was no sun as we know it, which is backed up by the legends of the Jews as well. And then they talk about how after the great flood, there was 3 families of people, and from the 3 families they were spread about. And Manco Capac Inca literally recognizes the rainbow as a covenant from the creator that he would never destroy the water by earth again.
Bruh,
and then from back. These 3,
hold on. You said dealing with that, right? Did they ever speak about a ship? They ever talk about the ark? Did they talk about the ark in the Inca language in the
Now,
story?
what language is that in? When I talk about the Incas, what is the so-called common language right now of the Inca?
It's not
Quechua.
Hebrew.
It's Quechua.
Yeah, it's not
right?
Hebrew.
Now watch
It's
this.
not
This is why
Hebrew.
I say there's books that you still have to translate from Spanish into English. One of them being a narrative of the Incas by Garcilaso de la Vega, an Incan
That's what you
himself.
spoke about earlier.
And in this book, when you get into it, and there's many other historians and linguists. For instance, did you know that Akkadian, I'm talking about the Babylonian times, Akkadian was found amongst the Aymara language and in artifacts in Bolivia.
And when it was found,
Look at the collection of Father Crespi. He'll show you the Sumerian reptilian bird people that are depicted with the cones, the gods, the pyramids, all of this. Look up the Lost Luna Stone in New Mexico, and it shows the 10 Commandments.
when did they get there? When did they get there? When did they get there?
Look, it's dated. Not when did it get there? How did it get there? What the hell is Hebrew doing? Dated thousands of years old in the old Paleo Hebrew, not no modern shit. The old Paleo Hebrew. Why did they find a Hebrew gravesite in Back Creek, Tennessee, with ancient Hebrew on it?
Bro, you know what timeline? Hold on, you know what? Hold on, wait. You say Paleo's Hebrew, right? You say Paleo's Hebrew, right?
No.
You say Paleo's Hebrew, right?
Paleo was Hebrew. Paleo.
No, you said
means,
Paleo Hebrews.
No. I didn't say Paleo was Hebrew. I said
no. I didn't say you said it was Paleo Hebrew. I said Paleo's Hebrew.
I said that. I'm saying no. I'm saying
no. This is what I'm saying.
Hebrew, they found this.
You say in Paleo's Hebrew. You say in Paleo's Hebrew. What is the timeline of the Paleos?
The Paleo is any time from Joshua up until recently after the Christian era.
Oh boy. Well, you know what? If that's dealing with Paleos, you just put yourself in the timeline. That don't make the so-called people ancient American people. Not at all.
It definitely does. Because now you asked me about Hebrew, because that's when the Hebrews started using that alphabet. You got to remember, we had an original language long before it was ever written. What was that original language? You can write it in many different characters and syllables. For instance, there's words that you can only say in a certain language, and you must transliterate it to sound as close as you can in your original language. It's the only way to copy it onto another language. So just because somebody writes in their language, the characters used has no backing, because if you want to be technical, Hebrew is more closer to the Medu Neter, the Egyptian, than any Sumerian. If you want to be real.
So dealing with that, right? Oh my God.
But nonetheless, though, this is the problem, because the whole attempt is to show that there is a chosen people out of all other people on the earth. And what I'm trying to tell you is that this chosen people that has been written about in what we call the Hebraic records is the American Aboriginal, the greatest people on earth. And you see the parallels. It's not what language, it's all. We have this same exact parallel story, except maybe a couple differences in the original record of America as well. That should be enlightening.
Nah, bro, that's not enlightening at all. And the reason why that I said it, because if you say that it was found as Paleos, as it being with Paleos, that puts you at a specific timeline. So once again, right, when y'all keep on trying to say that everything is over here in the West, that's not true. That's not true.
So what is over here then? If it's not something great and grand by the gods, what is it then?
Yeah, bruh. That's a good question. That's a good question, Pop. Real quick, Moses, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Cause how good this conversation is, that got cut off. I went past. I'm on the radio, but they let me keep going because we gonna have a good conversation. We live again. So, Pa, based off of your breakdown, what is this place?
This place was not called Egypt and it was not called Jerusalem. And the people are not Hebrews. Just like you say, dealing with that, when did Hebrews ever become sun worshipers?
See, now, hey, they accuse us of being Saturn worshippers too with Sabbath. But when you understand astrology, all of that changed. It's a difference between utilizing the energy and worshiping the energy. And today, a lot of people get that confused.
I agree.
So dealing with that, right? Dealing with that, you said about the green corn. How does green corn is symbol or related, dealing with correlation, dealing with the so-called Hebrews?
You said the what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, brother. What was that?
Good question.
The green corn. The green corn.
The green corn.
What correlation do they have with the Hebrews?
Yeah, good question.
Okay, so first you have the first fruits. We have in fact, right now is Abib. We consider this the first month of the new year in Hebrew, and we call it Abib. Abib is literally Hebrew for Abib is literally Hebrew for the green corn. Why? Because in South America, corn is budding right now, but everything is opposite in the northern hemisphere. And then
Moses, stop real quick. You just said it's
that's not our new year.
Wait. Today is spring equinox.
Yeah, it's the month of Abib in Hebrew. Now, translation is everything. You could talk about different dialects. I haven't even gotten fully into that, Brother Mac. I would love to expound more on the language.
Right now, just to keep it, it's spring equinox right now.
Yeah,
right?
In the Hebrew, we call this the green corn.
You're correlating that this is the time when the season in South America, green corn is starting to bud, because this is when crops grow again based off the correlation of the. Keep going.
And corn is a staple in Hebrew. People try to say it's some other type of grain. No, it isn't. It's corn.
Well, we never called it corn in the first place. That's an English word.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's an English word. But maize is literally Hebrew for manna, corn.
Well, we didn't. Well, my family didn't call it maize. We didn't call it that.
Well, that's your family, but that's an indigenous thing, though.
No, because our New Year's is not today.
Hey, just because your family didn't say it doesn't mean that it's not American, brother. The Arawak were a real people. And they came from South America.
Bruh, their festival is the same time as mine, and it's not in March on the 21st.
Hey,
because you might not be you might not be Southern Hemisphere. We're talking about connecting the two. This is why you have two New Years in Hebrew. You have Abib, and then you have Rosh Hashanah. So it's the time of green corn in South America, but it's springtime in the northern hemisphere. Then you look up Rosh Hashanah. That is in September. Some people that go by the moon say it can even extend into October. That's the springtime, the original springtime of South America, right? And you have what's called a new year. So in the Hebrew, you have a celebration of the renewing of cycles of both North and South America.
Okay.
Dealing with that, right? When he said that, when you dealing with that, do y'all have a deity that's dealing with the so-called Mas?
Yes.
In the Hebrew.
Yep.
In the Hebrew.
Yes.
And who it is in the Hebrew?
It's Sarah.
Who?
Sarah was the mother of abundance, because according to our legends, all the blessings that was I'm sorry for your sake, all the barakut that was given to Abraham was for Sarah's sake. And she was such a I don't want to say that word for your sake. She was such she was such a blessing that it was stated that her energy still to this day guards over the children. The Inca legend of corn, the corn goddess is called Mama Sarah.
Mama Sarah.
And it's stated that she had to run from a lecherous priest. There was this priest type figure that was trying to get to her. And then from there, she was turned into corn.
Who?
Right now, I know you're smart enough to believe the kids' story time versus the real. We know that's what we told the kids. Oh, she got turned into corn. Really, she became the overseer and the maiden of corn. Corn in her honor was offered unto her, and there was dolls made out of this woman because she was so prominent. Now, curiously enough, in the story of Sarah, Abraham's wife, you have it where Abraham was so scared that these people, because they did not obey the laws of the Creator, that they might try to take his woman if he says that's my wife. So he lied and said it was his sister. She was snatched up by Pharaoh, which every Pharaoh was a priest king, and according to the legends of the Jews, not the Bible Torah, but the legends of the Jews, it states where he tried to grab her and take her to have sex with her, even against her will, but a spirit would hit him and make him fall back every time. And then he had the dream and he had to let her go. So curiously enough, we see elements of that story in the Hebrew record, and corn being a much used word and a staple in the Israelite scriptures.
Okay.
So dealing with that, right? Hold on. He's showing the similarities. That don't mean the similarity don't mean it's the same. It's a parallel.
Similarities. I ain't get caught up in all that. I'm just saying, from a religious standpoint, as cosmology standpoint, mythos, folklore standpoint, and as he said earlier, in a language crossover standpoint, and I'm gonna ask Moses myself.
Because
Hebrew.
the only person that turned into something in the so-called Bible, hold on, that was Lot's wife. But go ahead.
Hebrew. I asked you earlier. Have you heard of the term, in a metaphysical term, that Hebrew means to cross over, Moses?
See, that's exactly what I want to talk about when I was first lining up with tracking it to an actual bloodline. But Hebrew itself, in Hebrew, is Ibar, right?
Say again.
And Ibar.
How you spell that?
It's Ayin Bet Resh in the Hebrew, which is the I, the B, and the R. The I, the B, the R, right? Now, right. If a people are the first to cross over, the first in Hebrew is Rishoni, from Rishon. So you put it together, Abarishoni. This is where the term comes from. You look on Google right now, it'll tell you Latin. What you got to understand is the Latin is even connected to the Hebrew. We call that our twin brother Esau, the black curly-headed Roman.
So where they crossed over from? Where they crossed over from?
Hold on, Pa. Gotta let y'all go back and forth. I've been wanting to talk about. Him on this conversation. He knows what I'm talking about when he said aboriginal. Am I right, Moses? You had this conversation.
Abarishoni means right? It means Hebrew. That's how you say Hebrew in Hebrew. Abarishoni. If somebody asks you what I am Abarishoni.
And then what does that mean?
That is not a new term on this earth.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Moses?
It means the first to cross over.
Now, wait. Cross over from where, Moses?
It means the first to cross over the flooded riverbanks that used to be the Nile. In Hebrew literature, that is known as, after that great super civilization stunk before the flood, and after the waters receded enough for mankind to populate it, there was one people that survived on that great boat that is written not only in the Hebraic records, but the Sumerian records and the lost book of Enki. When they got off that boat, they went right to that sacred spot after the waters came down. And that sacred spot so happened to be, what I'm fully convinced, is somewhere in South America.
Wait.
Indian legends declare.
Wait. You say it's South America, but yet on your boy page, they have it to where they had supposed to be in South Carolina.
What boy you talking about? Huh?
No, on that
Yeah,
page, on that
you know
post,
what? Yeah,
on
he's
that
right.
post.
He's right.
Hold on, but you just said South America.
Wait.
Yeah.
Make
So
sure
listen.
everybody listen, Pop. When you say things like that, we gotta make sure. 'Cause I know Moses know what you're talking about. I know you're talking about, but we're talking about America is the old world, right? Page.
No, he said about the boat. About the
What?
boat.
No, I'm talking
Yeah,
about
They
the
where
say
did
page.
that
where
the
did
boat.
Noah's Ark
They say that
truly
the boat's
land?
supposed to be in South Carolina, but he just said South America.
No, I didn't
Okay.
say that, brother. I didn't say that. I did not say that.
No,
I said
I
once
remember
they got
saying
off the boat, one people went right back to the place that was still receding from the water, and that was traveling to South America. That's why they were the first to cross over the flooded destruction to go back to the place where
Well,
life
in that group,
began after the boat. And the boat was in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina and Southern Virginia, according to Indian record, called Mount Ararat. To this day, it's called Mount Pilot. And there's a
right.
but you
whole
say South
legend of an
America.
inner
But you
earthling
say
there.
South America though. That's not South America. That's North America.
You're not understanding me. Ararat is not the fucking Holy Land.
Right.
I'm saying after they got off of the boat in Ararat, one people traveled back down south to South America, to the place where all life began. Tiwanaku in Bolivia, you have the creation of man. Period. You have the creation of man in Tiwanaku, Bolivia. When you talk about Lake Titicaca, the place where the sun was born on the fourth day, listen, the Inca tell you that there was eons upon eons of life before the sun as we know it. And that lines up with the Hebraic record that the sun came upon the fourth day. Now, let me tell you something, brother. A day is a throw off. It's really supposed to be jubilees of time. In the Hebrew, each day actually resonated with 2.5 billion years. So I'm not saying a Christian timeline of 4004 BC when they say Adam walked the earth. No, we know that they took out huge gaps of history. But you cannot fully decipher it without these records that I'm going into. These are your records, brother. Like Israel, just check this out, brother. You can even translate this in any language that you're familiar with, and it'll be beautiful. But Israel itself in the original is Yashara Allah, and that literally means in the Abad Rishoni, he who will rule as God on earth. And when you look at the position that our people held in ancient times, would this not be a fitting title for us?
You gotta show me that in the Inca language. You gotta show me that. You gotta show me that in the creation story of the Incas and all that there.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All love, brother. I definitely will. I have all these records. These are books. Some are from the 1600s, some from the 1800s, early 1900s. And the record exists. The record, I've seen not only the lives of Shem and Abraham, even up to Solomon. And they don't tell you that when you talk about the sun worship of the Incas, that actually started with Solomon. It wasn't the sun worship, it was the sun harnessing, because we were granted by Warakosha, the creator, we were granted the full power of the sun, which the Hebrews call Michael, the black sun. And that's dealing with the ultraviolet rays. If you look up right now,
Wait. Hold on. I thought the Hebrew word for sun supposed to have been shamish, which they actually got from the cuneiform language, dealing with the
Shamish, you said it right there. Shem. Shem is what? The father of all the children of Eber, the Hebrews, the Abad Rishonis. Solomon is not his true name.
You're doing homophones now. You're doing homophones now, bro.
Hey, I'm telling you
you're
right
doing
now.
homophones
Just
now.
look at Solomon. Do you think Solomon was his real name? That's a Latin name. It tells you in the Legends of the Jews that none of these names given to you in the Bible are the real names. That was their names given to them after they were inducted into godhood, meaning after they were buried in the land of the West, they had a new name that fully summed up their life on earth. Noah wasn't his real name. David wasn't his real name. Moses wasn't his real name. These were all titles that were given.
Didn't the people in them supposed to have been buried on the western wall of Jerusalem in a mountain of olives?
No, the Western Wall they claim is the only wall that still survives from the temple, but they insult us by inserting paper
No,
in it.
those that no those that's buried, they are buried on the outside of the Western Wall in the Mountain of Olives.
So on the outside of the wall, when you look at Cusco and you deal with the mountain of Sacsayhuaman and a couple of others that surround it,
Did you not hear
they
what I
have
said?
found many
Mountain of
burials.
Olives. Mountain of Olives.
Okay, break
Mountain
that
of
down, brother.
Olives. The region where they're speaking about dealing with the Western Wall, where you have the dead at dealing with the Mountain of Olives. The olives is where they made the oil from.
Right.
And they use the oil in the lamps,
Yep.
in the Hebrew lamps to keep fire lit. Now, where they have olives at outside of Cusco, because we know that Cusco was actually dealing with Machu Picchu again, was built for the Incas to keep the Aztecs and the Incas out. I mean the Aztecs and the Toltecs out.
Okay. So if Machu
And that was
Picchu was
in
built
the
only
14 and
for
that
a
was in the 14
forest,
and that was in the 1400s. That was in the 1400s.
so this is I think this is where the divide is, because I believe that they lied about those dates. I believe that Machu Picchu and the Inca are not just the people who sprang up in what they say like 900 AD up until. I believe that the Inca were around BC, but they have so fuzzed up the timelines. You know what I'm saying? Machu Picchu is much more than just a fortress. I know that it is also known to be what they call a living mountain, and that has such spiritual significance. Just like everywhere it is that we had a specific temple, it was lined up on a ley line or a power grid. So it had to have been something more than just a fortress to keep out the Toltec and the Aztec, because the Toltec and the Aztec were actually of the same lineage
outside.
of the Inca. If they were not the same lineage, there were enough intermarriages to ally the two, because you have remnants of the Inca Empire reaching past Costa Rica. And not only that, but now you can look this up. It's called a book called the Florida of the Incas. Florida of the Incas. What you're going to find out is that the Inca Empire had power all the way across the eastern seaboard of the United States, all the way up to New York.
Bring that back. Wait. Before we go, because we're gonna have to come back and have this conversation. We're gonna do a round two for this one. I gotta go. I ain't gonna lie to you. We gonna play no more music. Nothing. Because the conversation was that good that I don't need nothing else. This is the body work I want the conversation to be about. Because at the end of the day, these are the real conversations that really need to be had. You know what I'm saying? I ain't
Right.
even nothing of it. That's why you both. That's why I did it like that. Cause shot two outside walking, stay breathing hard and shit.
Hey, it's only 11:53, man.
Nah, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. He ready to go. Oh, I'm gonna bring you back, dog. Our show's gonna be until 11. We already over an hour. See what I'm saying?
Taitu Pa, I would definitely love to be acquainted with you on a brotherly level, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely pick up good energy signatures from you. And I would just love to, because I know you have some things that you know about our indigenous culture that I need to learn, brother. And so I definitely want to give you my ear. You know what I'm saying?
You see that? Thumbs up. I really, out of respect level, I think we all heard things. I ain't heard. Listen, Moses, when I came at you, I keep it right. I came at you on that same page, right? Moses,
Yeah.
I came at you. I said, no, hold up, Moses. What you saying? What this is? I ain't heard that. What's that? You were like, oh, Matt did it up. I'm like, well, but did it up. You were like, well, Matt, Aborigine did it up. I'm like, well, I know about that. Yep, did it up. We can't going back and forth, me and you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This on Facebook, me and you. So this will make me want to bring you on this platform because you answer certain questions a certain way, and it made me know that I mean. I ain't heard too many, as they call Hebrew people that's on that doctrine, religion, and also as you just described, Eber, the bloodline and everything. You breaking it down. You feel me? Like you really incorporating Hebrew.
And we
Shit.
was on both sides. That's why some of us had to cross over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, wait. Wait, did you hear what I said to you when I asked you that question before we leave here tonight? I
What
said,
was that?
Hebrew, Eber, Ibri, IBRI,
Yo.
IV. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you another term. IVRI. Like the Ivory Coast.
The ivory, exactly. Were they talking about elephant tusks, or were they saying the
I let
ivory?
y'all talk. I ain't gonna go in right now because I ain't got that much time. You know what I mean? We're gonna
Man.
we build and have a conversation because I like these conversations like this. You know what I'm saying? This is the real conversations that I talk about when we talk about some shit. But I correlated, even though I heard y'all talking on a conscious level. You know what I'm saying? Based off of me understand when they talk about the Ivory Coast in West Africa, I know that's the Hebrew coast of West Africa. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I also go tie in a term, and I'm gonna leave with this term and this person because I was if y'all not on Clubhouse, get on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk again. I'm gonna bring y'all back.
Yeah, bring me back because I got to go eat supper before I got to get up in the morning. I don't want to get an
I
indigestion.
appreciate you tapping in, having this conversation. That was great conversation. Thank you, Bob. Shout out to you, you know, how they doing all that good shit. Happy New Year, spring equinox, and all that good shit. That's how we talk, though. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love. You know what I'm saying? So, Moses, I appreciate you
Yes,
coming
sir.
on. You stood your ground, brother. You stood your ground, and you stand on what you say you know. And from a scholarly level, you on what you on, and you gonna stick to what you stick on. I respect that. Salute. By the way.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank you. You know, I mean, I like, for some reason I'm drawn to the Inca. So when it comes to the Inca, I can't lie. I study the Maya, but not too heavily. People's spirit is telling them to link with that. The Great Spirit is telling me to learn these Inca.
All right,
Especially
look.
for anybody, I want to state this for the record. If you come from the Choctaw or the Aniwania, the Cherokee people, or the Powhatan Confederacy of 33 tribes, nine times out of 10, you're Inca. And this is verified in the record. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go further than that. If you're Creek, Muskegee, Mawasi, you're connected to the Maya. Inca,
exactly. And if not the Mayan, you're a synthesis of the two.
I mean, listen, be real with you, man. I know that man was really certain things. I don't know. He was acting stupid about it. He didn't want to go in on something. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna talk shit about it because he ain't on it now. He can come see me about it. But the Toltec,
I love to the brother. You know, that's
no, but real talk. The Aztec, the Toltec, the Mayan, all that, the Inca, the Arawakan, Taino, all right? When you understand certain languages that's tied to what we call the indigenous people of here and on the record, such as people like the Soto and other people that came up the rivers and explored, like you said, southeast coast and all the islands of the Caribbean, you will understand in the correlation that what we're talking about, that these swarthy people that was exploring this area mixed in with the indigenous people. But there was a one particular people I like to represent and talk about. And that's why I let y'all talk tonight. You know what I'm saying? He got into all that part, dealing with the correlations of the Hebrew. And I just broke down to you. See, I know that the Hebrew, the ivory, I know what it means metaphysically. You understand?
right.
It means crossover.
Yeah.
It means crossover. It also means one of the feather. You ever heard that before?
Yep.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, see, and because I have so much that I don't speak upon, brother. I have so much that I don't speak upon simply because the Great Spirit tells me the people ain't ready for this yet. You know what I'm saying?
I know about that. One of the feather, right? Ivory. One of the feather.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk, Moses. We're gonna touch bases, but we live, and I ain't gonna lie, I'll be running over. I appreciate you for tapping me again. We're gonna come. I'm gonna reach out to you again. How we met, and we're gonna come back and have a conversation again, brother. I appreciate it.
And you're not too far. So if we got something concrete in the plans, brother, Hey, we can get to each other. We in Florida.
Florida.
Florida's long,
Florida
but it's
days.
not big.
The Florida days.
The Florida
Yeah.
days.
The
Yeah.
Florida days. Like the flower. Like the
Yo.
flower. All right, look.
Mhm.
You got West Florida Day, Louisiana. You got East Florida Day, where we
Yo.
at right now.
Florida Day used to go all the way up to the Carolinas. What?
Okay. All right. So don't sleep on what the Florida Days is about. It's on the
Exactly.
record. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk, we're gonna build, bro. I appreciate you for coming on and building with us tonight on the new year, or we call it spring equinox in general terms. You know what I'm saying? And building on what you talked about, the aborigine information you brought to the table. That's how I'm gonna say it to you, between me and you. The aborigine
That's
information
what we
you
need to
brought.
be saying. It's the reason why that word is even taken off the way it has amongst our people. We know that
Right.
we are the Aboriginals or the Aborigine.
Okay. I get what you're saying, brother. You see how I
Yo.
said it? I'm not coming. I ain't coming at you on no way. I'm coming at you on a level where I see where you're coming.
Yeah.
I have questions for you. And I want to build with you on those questions. You see what I'm
Hey,
saying?
but I'm glad you brought Chaitu Pound, and I appreciate finally learning how to say his name because I knew it was a different way. You know what I'm saying? That's raw. I like that name, Chaitu Pa. That's dope. That's dope. But you
No,
know what I'm
Chai
saying? I knew it was coming for some reason. I felt it like he's gonna pop up and we're gonna be able to hash it out. So I was
conversation.
glad to finally have that with the brother because whether or not, to me, that was a good first impression of the brother. Regardless if we had our varying views or not, he held himself like a man. I hope I did that as well, and it's all love.
Y'all both did. Trust me. It was a great conversation. I mean, it was edutainment.
Yeah, I
Meaning
can see that a little bit. Hey, the truth is always entertaining to the righteous.
to the righteous. I was
Yeah.
entertained. I mean, it was like a movie. That was better than the goddamn Marvel shit he just dropped. So I
Oh,
was.
dang.
But I would I agree with you on based off of the language, like you brought up the communication before I leave you tonight, 'cause I'm running over, is aboriginal, autochthonous, aborigine.
Exactly. That's all
I
the same.
understand the correlation and similarities in language between the three and what they all mean in the root of the people that they're talking about. Do you
Right.
agree with
Exactly. That's why I was trying to say in the beginning, it was something we call Hebrew. If this was the original language of creation, everybody knew it at one point.
Correct.
Everybody spoke it at one point. We have a Hebrew record saying when it stopped being like that, that's when 70 alien beings, whatever you want to call them, Elohim, which means the gods, the angels,
Right.
I don't care.
Anunnaki, right, all that.
Something happened in ancient times that's very spiritual. That sounds like something out of a fairy book, so be it. But something happened and it messed us up. And language is split off from there.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Moses, we're gonna tap in next week, man. I'm gonna holler at you during the week. You see, I got you on an autonomous party. Before you go, real quick, before we leave, what you got coming up again? Tell the people one more
Yeah,
time.
I got my seminar coming up, The Atlantean Origin of the Bible, an American Tale Legacy. Tap in. This is information that it hasn't been put in order and in chronology like this before. It's going to be 3 days long, March 26th, 27th, and 28th. On the nighttime, the Passover, which is a Hebraic Egyptian celebration. You can go to healedvibrations.com. That's healedvibrations.com. Purchase your ticket. I promise you, you're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. You're going to have your own recording for your own entertainment afterwards. You're going to have exclusive contact with me. Any questions, comments, anything, let's build, let's get acquainted, let's start this community, because the whole purpose of the seminar is to bring everybody together and let's have this talk, let's have this communion.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Bill. You heard? No,
Yes, sir.
respect to you. And post it into the party, right? And I'm gonna share it out because all perspective of the spectrum is deserved to be seen. Because there's a lot of angles of our people in the culture
Yeah,
that in semantics, as we like to call it semantics. You see what I'm saying? But Moses, this
Right.
is why I brought you on the platform to talk like from your, because I respect how you did it. I mean,
Brother,
even
I
when
cut
I
the
came at
semantics. I don't play for that semantics. People ain't
you,
finna.
I
Because when
respect
somebody plays semantics with you, brother, Salaki, forgive me. When somebody
that.
when
You good.
somebody plays semantics with you, they're literally insulting your intelligence. I can't go for
Right,
that. I
right.
put
We
too
ain't
many hours in. That's why I charge for my time. Because I
listen,
put too
brother.
many hours in to give it to you in the rough, rugged, and raw like I do.
Right. And guess what, brother? You ain't charged me nothing. You came at me real. I kept it real with you back. And you see, I made it happen. I put somebody
Exactly.
from an indigenous standpoint to deal with you from your perspective so that we can hear it on both levels. That's called equality. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Hey,
That's called
and I
equality.
was at that level with you when you came to me and you invited me. I feel like it's an honor to have brothers like you. You know what I'm saying? That's on the same page helping me because I don't have all the answers. I'm
None of us
forever a student. I'm like water.
do.
You know what
Move.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I got
Bruce Lee said, I'm like water. I got to form, I got to mold to what the truth is. I can't make my own truth.
none of us can.
And I see that same light in you, brother. So I thank you so much for this platform that you have created for individuals like me that might have a hard time. And you're a blessing.
No, man. Don't say
Definitely.
blessing. Have my cousin said before. We
Oh
don't
man,
deal
hey,
blessing. And I
yeah,
ain't
about the time.
sacrificing myself. I ain't no martyr. But in the manner of speaking, I'm fortunate to give you the fortunes that you give it to me on the level that you're giving it to me for what I'm doing right now. And because you said Peru, I'm gonna leave you with this, my brother. I don't want roses. I want sunflowers.
Sunflowers all day.
Peace and love, bro.
Peace
Yo,
and love.
tap in with me. Holla at me, Moses. We out of here. I'm sorry for going over Music Media Lounge each and every week Sunday. That's where we at. Usually be from 8 to 11, but they allow us to go a little extra because the content tonight with the brother we had as the guest. And it was a great conversation with Chai Tu. And I call him Cheeto. And really, I call him Noble Pa. Noble Pa. That came
Noble
over
Pride. That's
tonight.
good.
Fuck with me a certain level, and that's what I need though. We need that like that sharpen of the swords, so people can ask the right questions, so we can all get to a certain point and just understand what we're talking about. So for those that didn't catch it, you can listen to it on Autonomous Party. Click on the link. Moses, I'm gonna tap in with you. Appreciate you, y'all. Peace and love. We out of here. Peace. All right,
Peace.
Moses.
Love.